matter most to you. A closer look at current events, just the tip, special guests, and more. Welcome to Let's Have a Fefe, Arizona's longest running drag live stream. Hosted by Felicia Fefe Minor and Freddy Prinze Charming. Streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Promotional consideration for Let's Have a Fefe provided by Wigs of a Kind, The Burly Barber, Bone and Basil, as well as our patrons at Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Let's Have a Fefe to become a Fefe patron. Virtual tips accepted at paypal.me/Let's Have a Fefe. Welcome to Let's Have a Fefe.
Hello. Good evening.
To the one of you. Oh, it went to 3.
There's 3.
Oh, wow. We're hitting goals.
It's
Welcome to Let's Have a Fefe. This is season 10, episode 8.
we're like 2 months in already, if you can believe that shit.
Oh, wow. This is your Wednesday night conversation. Welcome to Let's Have a Fefe. I'm Felicia Fefe Minor, and just for a couple more weeks,
like God a month. I have like a month.
God willing, he's only gonna be Mr. Yusabe at my classic 2019, 20, 21, and could have been 22 if you guys would have not worn your mask. But he's Freddy Prinze Charming. He just came back from safari. A short-lived safari, but he's here.
I needed something easy that was still like interesting. So
I feel like if I put a mustache on, I would not put makeup around the area. I would just do like, this is what you see, and then mustache. That's what I would have done. We would like to thank our 18 patrons on Patreon, which we need to get back to because y'all, we slacking. Allison, Brandon, Cassandra, Drake Jensen, Casey Starr, Carrie and Corey, Kim, Joan, Jody, Leanne, Nicole, Patricia Mason, Sassy C. Diaz, Shannon, Shelly, and Sky. I had to put Shannon in there because, I was reading it earlier.
Alphabetize it. I got you.
Special thanks to our friends and supporters, Patricia Mason, Sky, and Drake Jensen, for taking a deeper plunge on Patreon. And it was suggested today that the season 10 flyer be sent out or something. So maybe we hit our Patreon supporters with that first. And then, yes, there's many more that need to be edited and things. But the one that's on there is doing pretty well, I think. Special thanks to Joan of Bye Bish Jewelry and Wood Art. I was so excited for her because she got a new
stamp.
tag.
The stamp. I know. It's awesome.
I created that, y'all. I didn't create the stamp, but I created the logo.
Yes.
For Bye Bish. Guido Martin and Jeremy Bright. We'd like to also thank of Ripple Phoenix for supporting us as well. You can donate to us. I wasn't on it. I apologize. At paypal.me/Let's Have a Fefe. And don't forget the Patreon is right here too. Right there. If you feel like it, some of y'all do. Some of y'all think you're funny too. But I don't really check it like as if it's like my number. So
oh my God.
Ask Freddy. I don't really check my phone as often as you think I would check my phone, if that makes sense to you.
It's constantly in her hand, but she never actually looks at it.
Even when people are with me, they're like, huh, you got all those messages. I think I go numb to it. Anyway, but if you feel the nerve, text LHAF to 602 730-7379. And I think last week somebody had the number wrong. So make sure you type the number in right.
We are
I
not
can't.
responsible for what you may get if you get the number wrong.
You may not be talking to me. That's all I can tell you. But how was your weekend, Freddie?
So my weekend was busy.
Mhm.
You know, cons and near-death experiences and fun things like that. Like, so
Let's start with the happy piece first, and
it
then
was. I mean, it was fun. It was like I've never been able to experience the full like Wild Wild West Con because I always just had like the day pass. I'd go down for a day and that was it. You know, this time. And it was my partner's first time going. So we went
oh,
and we
you
had the
virgin,
hotel. So we
you.
just stayed there. And we, you know, had the whole thing the whole time. It was great. We went to a bunch of we did some workshops. We made like leather goggles and like learned how to like um rub and
Oh my
buff like
god!
how to make like guns and stuff. We
I
did
have
some
to
tea
pause you for a
dueling.
second. I
Oh
have to
god.
pause you because Suzette came through and said you
I
look
know.
like the bad guy from Jumanji. This is
Somebody
hilarious.
else said that on my status too. I think I could also pull off a wild thornberries look.
Oh, oh my god! Can I be the little girl? Ew, that means you would
Mm-hmm.
be my dad. Oh,
That's
gross.
awkward.
Um,
um but I introduced my partner to tea dueling and Madame Askew and the Grand Arbiter. We went
they
to
were
their
live
event.
doing that.
We went to Tipsy Tea. Did a little bit of shopping, like just lots of eye candy because so many cool ass costumes because the theme was over the rainbow.
Oh,
So there was a lot of like kind of Wizard of Oz inspired looks because every day there was because the overall theme was over the rainbow, and then they had like
uh-huh.
each day they had a different theme, like if you wanted to dress up for that theme.
Oh,
So day one was monochrome. Day two was
hi, Marissa.
day two was Emerald City Fashion, and then day three was Rainbow something something. I don't remember.
Oh, I would
So
have fit in for the last day.
it was great. We were able to plan our outfits ahead of time. So like we were both in like grays and blacks and stuff the first day because you know the Wizard of Oz the movie starts off in black and white. So
Mm,
we went that route.
mm.
My Emerald City garb, the vest and the pants, Geo made those for me before we left, which was awesome. And we
Wow.
actually and Dee actually got a green velvet corset from Pepper, which was kind of cool. Um and then rainbow, like I didn't have a lot of rainbow, but Madame Askew made me a rainbow ascot, which I wore on the third day. This thing, she needs to
Oh,
post a
is this the one
picture.
you were talking about that
This
was
damn
record
thing
long?
was taller than I am.
Oh, I should
She
have.
was laughing so hard because I had it and I was like, I had it tied and then I had it tucked into my shirt. And I was like, I'm bulletproof right now. I have about 5 feet of ascot tucked into my shirt. And I went to take it off and I'm like pulling. It was like magic
Oh,
scarf and
like a
she was
clown.
dying. It was hysterical. Um,
Hmm.
so that was wonderful.
The picture, though, the picture that you posted, you couldn't see the whole thing.
No, there's a picture that Madame Askew took of the Grand Arbiter literally holding the scarf up above my head.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
She hasn't
I
posted it
saw
yet.
you with it on, but I
Yeah.
didn't see.
No, it's
Okay.
deceptive. You can't really tell. When she posts it, I'll make sure that you see it because it's huge. But it's fantastic.
Hi,
Um,
babe.
and then there was the issue on Friday morning, which we still have no fucking clue because it doesn't make sense.
Mm.
I literally, so we'd already been in the room for hours. We checked in Thursday night. We'd already been in the room for more than 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And my internal alarm wakes me up early because my internal alarm is a bitch. So I was up at 6 and I decided I didn't want to be
On
awake at
vacation.
6. Right.
On vacation.
So I went and used the restroom and I went back to bed. 10 minutes later, my feet feel like I'm standing in a pit of fire ants. Like I'm like burning, like itching and burning like
What?
nobody's business. Both feet, not just one, both feet. And then
Yikes.
it worked its way up my legs, up my entire fucking body, up my head, everything. By the time we turned on the light, I was literally covered in hives. Everything was swollen. And it wouldn't have been detergents or perfumes because it would have hit me sooner than that. It wouldn't have taken 8 hours, more like 12 hours. It wouldn't have taken 12 hours for that kind of reaction. It was
Maybe when they
literally in a
cleaned your toilet seat?
space of 10 minutes. 6 a.m. to about 6:10. There was literally nothing between 6 a.m. and 6:10 that was any different. Nothing. I didn't eat anything. I used all the same soap. I used all the same shit. There was literally nothing.
That's scary. That's so
Nothing.
scary.
So we ended up having to go to urgent care. And at that point, like my mouth was like completely swollen. My tongue was swollen. My throat was starting to close up. Got
Whoa.
a shot of steroids in one butt cheek, got a shot of Benadryl in the other butt cheek, and then I passed out for 6 hours. I was so mad.
So you couldn't do like any pre stuff.
We missed like the shit that we wanted to do in the morning. We missed all of it.
Whoa.
Nothing bit me. We looked, there was nothing, because if it had been something that had bitten me, it would have been, we would have seen it probably on my feet because that's where it started, but it was both feet, not one foot. It was both feet at the same time. And there was no marks anywhere, anything. There were no bugs, no nothing. We pulled all the sheets off the bed. There was nothing. Literally nothing.
There's something in the air.
We looked all the things. We looked at everything. There was literally nothing. So besides that, and after that, it didn't happen again, and I was fine.
Wow. So my theory was that stress, when you carry stress, because I have had this happen to me before,
right?
Where like you're so stressed for a long period of time that when you're not stressed anymore and your body's able to relax, it's like I don't know what to call it. Like it's like a reaction to
right.
I mean, but I have never gotten it from head to toe though.
I've never seen, I've seen people break out in hives like with stress, but full on anaphylaxis.
Yeah.
Never seen that shit. And I'm not allergic to anything. So we have no fucking clue. It's a mystery. So eventually I'll be getting it. I'll go get an allergy test and all that shit. I'll take care of it later. But yeah, nothing. Literally not a goddamn thing. Makes no damn sense.
You are the man of mysterious diseases though.
And it didn't happen again afterwards. Like, if it had been something environmental, I would have continued to have some sort of reaction, even with taking Benadryl and stuff like that. Like there still would have been something. Nothing.
You've never been stung?
Well, yeah, if you're stung, but not from stress, full on anaphylaxis with hives from literally the top of my head to the bottom of my feet from stress. That's like not generally a thing. Like closing, like having, your throat closed up and stuff like that from an allergic reaction is very common. Like that's totally what happens.
In high school, I got hives started at the top of my head and it traveled down my body throughout the day.
Right. This was 10 minutes.
What was the reason? What was the reason? Sorry. That's from one of those shows that you watch. Cardi B is on it. What is the reason?
Oh my God. How was your weekend?
So y'all, we get on. Okay, so hold on just a second. Hold on. I'm not paying attention to the comments at the moment. Okay, so we signed off of here
last week.
And I told all of y'all, last week about where to find me and yada, yada, yada. Little do we know that someone in my household had COVID and had tested positive for COVID. As I'm like sitting here and
I watched this happen in real time.
The show, and I went from high energy, like that was a good show, that was good, yeah, and then I'm like looking at my phone and I'm like, and so yes, someone in my household had COVID, and I have tested myself because I was already testing myself like a crazy person, and so that uh turned into hyper. Um,
Right.
y'all don't know me like that, but let's just say I clean hotel rooms even when I arrive there. I uh, I am I am that friend on your list that I am very careful about all of that. And so keep in mind, everybody, I am the only one that's vaccinated in my household.
I still
So
don't get that, but whatever.
Um, I I don't either. But I continuously keep checking myself. But I had to miss out on the things that because we were supposed to go to Payson for the tour. They did go to Payson, but I did not. Though I did wake up on Saturday morning with FOMO, and
I'm
of course,
sure.
and I was almost going to be like, I could stay masked the whole time. I could, like I was trying to think of like my mind was like, I did everything right. Because the weekend before I had missed gigs because I wasn't feeling well, but I had tested negative the whole time. So, ugh. So, I want to say that science worked in my favor the whole time and has continued to work in my favor. And that if you are not vaccinated, you should be vaccinated. Thank goodness it didn't get drastic for anybody, which
They're
is
lucky. Like they're
yes. And so when we did go to the Melrose Street Fair after that person had tested negative, and it wasn't a false negative because I know people are asking, was it a false negative? No, it wasn't. Uh, but and masked just to be and distant from people. So, because you know how things like that go.
mm,
But that was my only outdoor activity, so to speak. Was walking,
that sucks. That sucks so bad.
and I wanted to like see different people at different venues, but then I thought, what if like my I am a protector by nature, but I just didn't want to. First of all, I was mad because I had thought out my weekend, and then
Right.
I
I would
yeah.
have been mad too. I don't blame you. I would have been like, bitch. Oh my God. I would have been so angry.
And plus,
Oh,
that is it's so fun, and the venue was very nice from what I could see. So that is one thing too that I must say for uh, this Pride tour, it has been that the venues have not been like dive bars. Like it's not
well, that's
anywhere
good.
that you would have thought. But so this one was a very nice setup, and I was like, damn it, gonna miss this one too. So,
So speaking of traveling and missing
oh
things and all that
yes,
stuff.
I thought we had talked
So
about that.
we have, but it hasn't been a couple years because we haven't done anything in a couple years. So
Oh.
I know that it's been probably a good 2.5 years ish or so, if not longer, than we've talked about this. And based on the way that I'm feeling, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a thing because we're all out of practice. Let's face it. Like we haven't done anything in 2 years, really, most of us anyway. So I wanted to talk about things like con drop, which depending on who you are, it's con drop or like glitter drop, pageant drop, whatever. And
Mhm.
we kind of forget, like we can't just jump back into things. Like literally we haven't done anything in 2 years. Those of us that have been taking this seriously have literally done not much of anything in 2 fucking years. And with that being the case, going to different cons and things, the drop is going to hit especially hard. And for those of you
Mhm.
that aren't familiar with the term con drop, it's the feeling you get after you've spent several days in an event. It could be a pageant or a convention, a festival, that kind of thing. So you get that, you're riding on that high. You're feeding off everybody's energy. It's so much fun. You've got the adrenaline going, and you're pumped the whole time because it's just you're surrounded by so many
I
like
think
awesome, like-minded people.
I think
And
I have
then
been getting this from the tour.
that's totally a thing. And it can feel like you get home and you don't think about it usually until like the next day, and it can feel like a sort of general feeling of malaise or like ennui, and can even kind of manifest similarly to depression. After you're so full of all the excitement and everything, and you get back and it's like a hard stop.
It's like
So
real
your
life comes
body
at
has
you
to
at the
like
same
right.
time.
Your body has to like reset itself. It kind of has to like resituate its brain and everything. And it can be really rough. And I'm not new to things like cons and stuff like that. I've gone to AIDF, I've done all these different things and pageants and stuff. And con drop always happens. But usually it's more than one a year. It's usually a few times a year. So you're like you got the routine down pretty good once you get home. This was like my first thing like this
Oh, you haven't really done any
since
hard
I th-
hitting.
no, I think this is my first like festival convention thing since AIDF in 2020
So even when you went to
or 2019.
like Renaissance, that was it?
It's different. No, because it's like a day and you go and it's this
Okay.
was like for me, usually like if it's just one day, it doesn't really affect me. If it's a weekend or a week or multiple days, like that's when
Mm.
it hits me hardest. And the thing that you have to remember is that self-care is key.
Amen, amen.
Recognize that you may think you're not going to drop. I guarantee you're going to drop, even if you like, oh no, I'm fine, I'm fine. You will drop.
Yes.
There will be a drop, and you may not even acknowledge it. You may not even recognize it, but it's important to kind of pay attention to that. Chances are, you're not actually depressed, but it could feel like that. Like your body may kind of act like it's depressed. You may have trouble sleeping, you may have trouble waking up, you may have trouble focusing, headaches, body aches, decreased appetite, like everything's just off. And like for me, for the last couple of days, I've just felt off.
It's almost
Just
like jet lag, but not so much so.
kind
I
of same sort
almost
of
feel like
thing.
I'm in like survival mode.
Right. It's like because the same thing with sort of jet lag, your body kind of has to reset and readjust. And it's
Hmm.
the same sort of concept. And like for me, I've been having trouble sleeping. Like I've been awake at like 4 a.m. and then I try to go back to sleep, and then it's hard for me to drag myself out of bed in the morning. Like it's like I've been fuzzy, my brain's been fuzzy. My sinuses have been stuffy, but I think that's partly just weather changing and things like that. Like we went to IKEA last night and I was like, I'm kind of stuffy, but no big deal. We got into the car to drive home and I'm like, oh, I don't feel good. Like my vision was blurry. I'm driving home at night. Like we were there, we closed out IKEA. So I'm driving home at
Ah,
night and it was like
you
things were
got lost in the maze.
blurry. And I got home and I'm like, I gotta go to bed. Like I don't feel well at all. Like it was ugh, awful.
Mm.
So but I know it's all part of that drop. And one of the key things to do, we didn't even think about it. We should have, but with my partner starting a new job recently and things like that, she didn't want to take any more time off. But if you can, take that day after the con off. Whenever you get home, whether you're flying or driving or whatever it is, when you get home, take the next day off if you can. It'll give you a day to kind of all right, if you unpack, do some laundry, whatever, but it's
Oh my
you don't
God,
have
I'm
the
so
pressure.
horrible at unpacking.
We haven't so we haven't really unpacked. We still have stuff in the living room, but
Oh,
also my closet is still broken. So
oh no.
we haven't been able to do anything. Like so like we unpack, if we do
Wait, we
laundry,
have like Woodsmith type friends. Why is the closet
we
so
were
broken?
we were at IKEA for a reason.
Okay, I was gonna say.
We're gonna go the wardrobe, but it was, so like we're struggling. We were on the struggle bus. Like we're both, it's the focus is hard. Like I'm glad that I've been slow at work so far this week because if anybody
Knock
had
on
actually
wood,
expected me to
somebody. Knock
do
on wood.
anything, like I would have been like, oh my God, like my cases would have taken me forever. I was just like,
Yes. Marissa says it's like being drained, but the brain doesn't stop.
mhm.
You can get all the symptoms. That's our body and mind telling us it's time to rest. Yes.
Yep.
So, the week before this weekend, my body did the whole like everybody was like, it sounds like COVID. I was like, no, this sounds like the thing that like when I do too much, my body
Mhm.
goes
And your
into like
body's like,
this.
"Fuck you."
Like if it looked at a makeup brush, it goes, ooh, oh,
I was feeling so gross last night. I took a COVID test this morning because I was like, that was
yeah.
negative. But the key thing is to try and take it easy. Even if you have to go to work the next day, if there's a way to kind of minimize what you're doing, kind of don't
Hmm.
push yourself, don't overexert yourself. Go to bed at a decent hour if you can. Eat comfort foods. Comfort foods are great. Take ibuprofen, whatever you need to do to feel better. Drink
I will
tea.
say though, the next time I go to Austin, I will take the week that I am there, and I am taking the week after because yeah, I went strong, especially that time. I mean, I've only been once, but I went strong every day and
Mhm.
performed some of those days. So I was going even harder. And then you come back and reality slows you down and you're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
what? And then like you just feel crummy for like a week straight and you're like, oh my God, I wish I could sleep right now.
It's like things like that. It's like going to like Girl Scout camp or whatever, and then coming back and like all of the people that you've met, all your friends and everything, they're not there, and you're just back to normal life, and it's like this is stupid.
I mean, of course, we couldn't do that forever,
Right,
but
right.
oh, makeup,
But
eye
just
twitch.
remember, as things start getting back to normal and we start doing more things and going to stuff, remember to take care of yourself, because otherwise you're gonna feel like shit afterwards. Trust me.
Yes. And you have heard us several times talk about self care, so
Mm.
let us not preach on, but you know, I say be careful. I say also what's not, I know these things are overly hyped, but what's not bad to carry with you and good to take sometimes when you remember, because I don't ever remember sometimes when I bring things, but like not airborne. I like the Zycam better. Um, just to
Stuff for like
keep,
your immune system to kind of
yeah,
give it
because
a
your
boost.
immune system is running on like high the whole time.
Right.
And then when it gets back home, it's like, okay, let's pick all this out.
Right.
And if you don't
Yeah.
have nothing defending it the whole time, then it just kind of working overtime. So,
Right. No, it's definitely a good idea to take stuff like that, especially if you're traveling. Especially if you're traveling.
especially if you're traveling in the next month or so. Well, you've
Uh,
had the title forever. You need to get that off your chest. You need to get that off. Um, let's get into current events, shall we?
oh Lord, here we go.
I so we were talking about this before because I thought it was satire, and it turns out it's not. So reach, researchers and scientists say that giant spiders will be jumping from the sky on the East Coast, and that was the headline that I read, and I was like, oh my God, what? I was like, COVID now, jumping spiders, what the hell? And it's true. They will be jumping on the East Coast of the United States, and there's nothing we can do about it. These giant spiders are called giant joros. They're venomous, and they came to the States from Asia. I believe either Japan or China, but doesn't matter. They're jumping out of the sky. Gross. What? Um, expect the populations to grow in places like warm places that is similar to like Asia is like the
So humid,
tropical,
right?
yeah.
So
So
yeah.
one of the top places it was saying is Georgia
Mhm.
and Washington D.C. and more.
I would say some of the southern states where you've got like that warm, humid
Yeah,
climate with the swamps and
maybe it'll
things.
go to Florida for the people that just passed that stupid ass law.
I'd be fine with that.
So, um, yes, Francis. Um, oh my God, y'all are funny. Yes, it's true. I checked my sources because I thought that I was being scammed by the Onion,
No,
and it's not.
I saw an article too. They're really pretty spiders though.
They are,
They're
and the
they're
one that I
big. They
saw,
can be about the size of your palm.
yes. So I think I have the article up still. They are bright yellow, black, blue, and red, and can grow up to 3 inches.
Yeah, they're
If
big boys.
you're like to exaggerate, it's this big. Um, they likely travel across the globe in shipping containers. Their life cycle begins in early spring, and there's nothing we can do about it. But they get really big in June, and they're often seen in July and August. That's a long
Aw,
summer.
I'll keep
Their
one as a pet.
name. Oh, you would. They're named Jorogumu. I don't know how to say it, but it has a name. Um, it's it's derived from a creature of Japanese folklore
Mm.
that can shapeshift into a woman or a spider before killing its prey.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah, so if you're traveling to the East Coast, carry an umbrella. Um, it won't save your life, but it could. St-
I'm sure the conservative right is having a field day with this. So everybody knows that President Biden has been called a fossil because he's a little bit older.
yes.
And he is technically a fossil, or rather, I guess a fossil is being named after him. A 328 million year old vampire squid is being named after our president. I mean,
And
there
this
are
is
worse
real.
things to be. This is yes. I mean, there are worse things to be named after. I could be a vampire squid. I'd be fine with that.
Well, ginger steals souls. Uh,
Yeah.
but I read that and I was like, I really had to fact check these. And then
This is why the Onion isn't in business anymore, because you can't make this shit up. This is why you can't write satire when truth is stranger than fiction. Like you can't do it.
oh my gosh. But speaking of Biden, Biden, I don't know if Biden is trying really hard or Biden's trying. I don't know. It's weird to me. Anyway, Biden is halting all imports of Russia crude oil. So we know that Russia is invading Ukraine for silly reasons. Seem like silly reasons to me. And all of a sudden everybody's like, stop, we gotta fix this. No, what we need to do is be like, Russia, get back in your spot. eh, stay there, because why'd you move? Many major like brands are moving out of
Mhm.
Russia. Not Disneyland though. Let me just keep on. McDonald's closed a lot of or all of the Russian
Mhm.
stores, but still paying their employees.
Yep.
What was the other one? There's a whole bunch of other ones that Coca-Cola, which is
Mhm.
a franchise partner of McDonald's,
Yep.
is leaving Russia. There was a couple other ones that they were like, "We're out. Thanks so much, though." But Disney does business there still. I haven't heard of them backing out. It's just
Um
really weird. Russia, 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 Russia,
so
Russia.
the
Oh, I don't want to
since
read that.
Yeah, the the airstrikes continue right now. One of the latest is Russian airstrikes destroyed a children's and maternity hospital.
Yeah, that
There
was just hours
are
ago.
That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
And they're still unsure of casualties, but Russia, of course, is denying all of this because it's Russia.
we
And
don't all
since
see it.
they not Russia is notorious for censoring everything. Like whatever is
But we
available
don't all
in
see
like
it.
you, we see it, but Russia is one of those. Russia's like the abusive partner that's like, are you going to believe what you see or are you going to believe what I tell you?
Oh,
They're
well,
gaslighting, basically, is what they do.
they need to have a seat.
Yeah. Since the start of the invasion, Russia has launched about 710 missiles against Ukraine. That's a lot. Like, considering how
We'll talk
small
about that.
Ukraine is, like.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
In domestic news, the first U.S. Capitol riot defendant to go on trial was found guilty on all counts. They're all felonies, and he has been found guilty of wanting to obstruct the congressional certification of the 2020 presidential election,
Oh,
transporting guns into D.C.,
oh my
carrying a Smith &
goodness.
Wesson handgun onto the restricted grounds of the Capitol,
You can't be serious.
interfering with Capitol Police protecting the Upper West Terrace, and
No
obstructing
way.
justice by threatening his son and daughter when he returned to Texas. I believe it was his son that actually turned him in.
Got him.
He'll be sentenced in June, and the maximum sentence for the worst of the charges is 20 years. So we'll see.
Will it actually happen though?
Mm,
He white.
we shall
In other
see.
news, gas prices keep going up. We're at $4 a gallon here, if not more, in some parts of Arizona.
Mhm.
Other parts of the country reporting that they are at over $6 to $7 per
Jesus.
gallon.
I know California is going all over the place.
Funny thing is, this is all because of the war, but on Instagram, somebody's in the caption, let me just preface it for this. It said, my girlfriend wanted me to take her somewhere expensive. He had her blindfolded, and she got out of the car, and he walked her to the middle of the street of the
Mm-hmm.
of the gas station. She goes, "Where are we?" Because he took the blindfold off, and she goes, "Where are we?" He goes, "Turn around. You said take you somewhere expensive," and it was like
Ta-da.
$7.29 or something. The price was, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's what it's gonna be." People are gonna be like, "Do you really want to go on this date?" Because I don't feel like driving.
Mm. Seriously.
Oh my gosh, people are gonna be so mad because, like if they get ghosts, they you'd be so mad.
Guido said that the head of the Proud Boys got a perp walk in his underwear in Miami yesterday. Yes, he did. He's being, I believe, charged with conspiracy.
Again,
For
see,
one six.
this is too good. Like the Onion can't do this. This is too much.
And
It's all
Gabe,
just
yes,
seems
his son was threatened for turning his dad in. That's where the obstructing justice comes in.
yes. I don't no. No. I think there will be a lot more, but I think he is the first of many, and he's the scapegoat. So he's probably
Walks in
gonna
the park, I think, because of the gas prices.
oh. Oh, I thought you meant like his case was gonna be a walk in the park. I was like, no,
No.
it's really not. Yes, I like long walks. I like to walk to where I'm gonna eat.
Mm. And once
You're
summer
gonna
hits, I'm not leaving the house. So
you're gonna see the profiles change, I bet, on the dating apps. You'll see must drive your own vehicle.
right. Must
We'll
have a
meet
job that enables you to be able to purchase gas for your vehicle.
must meet at the light rail at a reasonable time. stuff like that will happen, I'm sure. Even though the madness is continuing all around the world, the madness has not stopped at home. Black Panther director Ryan Coogler, was mistaken for a robber and detained by police. So I smell a lawsuit coming. That's what I smell. And he's the director of like the Black Panther. He's gonna find a lawyer and
So
get y'all.
stupid.
He's gonna. And speaking of craziness, Black and Latino soccer players were heckled with monkey noises and barking, says a coach. This happened on Saturday at a championship game between two high schools in California.
Why is this even still a thing? I don't understand why this is still a fucking thing. It is 2022.
I don't
Like,
know. I don't know. I would have lost my shit if something like that would have happened to me. But good on the kids for not doing anything. And in other weird, here we go. A North Carolina mom says Black students were sold at school during a slave auction.
I remember that happening a few years ago too.
Yes. And I think it is in the similar area, if I'm not mistaken.
Of course it is.
So what I have to say is do better, America. Do better. We're busy thinking about things in foreign lands, but at home our glass house is still so dirty and has so many cracks in it. It's amazing that we haven't fallen.
In LGBTQ news, Brittany Griner is still being detained in Russia over drug charges. She's been there since about February when she was detained. She's accused of smuggling cannabis oil into the country.
So the thing is, I am very fearful that they may use her as a pawn.
Oh, there are at least 2 other Americans being held in Russia right now as well. The 2 others, I believe, are American men, former Marines, I think. Both were tried and convicted, as well as one can be tried in Russia, where the justice system is a little sketchy. But they're being held as well. I know that the Justice Department is trying to get everybody out as much, but there's not a lot of information on, first of all, where Brittany Griner is being held. Russia's being very tight-lipped about everything.
Well, they censor everything, so
right.
You're not gonna. And the first question that a lot of people had was, "How come we didn't know sooner?" You're not gonna know sooner because they're in control of what people know about what's happening in their country because they censor everything. Catch my drift,
right?
Guido. The only thing that's different about this, Brittany, is I don't see random white gay people dancing in the street saying "Free Britney." I don't see much of that anywhere, actually. Her partner is very distraught and begging to hear something and to be able to have Britney home. So
Russian prisons are not fun.
There was
our prisons here are the fucking Hilton in comparison.
Correct. And if you, like he's saying, Freddy's saying, if you know anything about them, there's the big fear. Excuse me. There is a big fear because Russia is not LGBTQ plus friendly whatsoever.
Nope. Not even a little bit.
And they could do things that you could imagine and those that you cannot imagine. So we hope that Britney can come home soon. Because that, especially since she's one of our hometown players.
Seriously.
Putin is, you always write these long things. I can't. Putin is a white nationalist in his own country and has a long history of human rights violation against the LGBTQ community in Russia. Seriously worried for Britney. Yes. I am too. Being a person of color while in a
Who?
public
It's fine. It's
figure.
fine. Just it's fine. It's fine. Disney refused to stop backing supporters of the Don't Say Gay bill, and now is trying to basically backtrack, backpedal, cover their ass, and donate a shit ton of money after a really horrible public backlash.
Y'all, if you want to see Twitter on fire, so it broke like a couple days ago that they were supporting this bill in Florida, and so all of a sudden I was like, "What is going on?" And at first I thought it was the kids walking out, and then it turns out that some of our usual suspects are supporting the bill and the people that back it, and then Disney came up and people were like, no, that can't be right. And people started fact checking that Disney is doing that. And then when Disney was approached, they said, no, we're not backing out of our commitments to these people. And
And the
so,
world exploded.
yeah. And then so people were like, we have gay days at Disney. What the like, what is going on? Like, gay culture has Disney characters
It's all
in
about yeah.
yeah. And so like Disney caught just the wrong you talk about you chose the wrong battle to be in.
They're gonna have
Yeah.
to shovel their way out of this one because
Yes.
this
Yes.
like
We don't talk about Bruno, but we're gonna have to
we
talk
will
about
talk
Bruno
about it
here.
if you donate money to bigoted assholes.
So speaking of the Don't Say Gay bill, it passed in Florida, which resulted in more backlash. The students walked out once they found out that it had been passed, and I don't know if I think spring break is in session, so, but I haven't heard if this will continue throughout. But if it does, Florida's in trouble. Florida was in trouble when this first started, but oh yeah, they why aren't they learning? Like this does not send a
Because it's
good.
Florida. It's fucking Florida. It's Florida. They
First of
don't.
all,
This is Florida.
ugh, we're still
This
not
is
over the
Florida.
pulse, and now we have this. But what do I know? Um, yeah, that's all I know for now. But I'm gonna save that one for you. I think that's so exciting.
This is interesting. In the newest emoji update, I'm guessing this is Apple.
But it should be universal. They should update at the same time. But yes, Apple is leading the way. Yes.
A pregnant man is set to be added. Should be interesting. I'm gonna wait for the conservatives to have a conniption fit over an
I can't
emoji.
wait.
That always it's the little things
So
like that make me happy.
So also in my mind, I'm gonna use that when I'm full.
Right. That's funny.
Because I always use the pregnant
And
lady. And
right. That's funny. Oh my god.
I feel seen.
God. Jesus. In COVID news, Arizona's COVID death rate is the second highest in the country.
Oh, look at us winning things again.
I know. And a report from the Arizona Public Health Association says that Arizona was the only state where COVID was the leading cause of death during the pandemic. If you can believe that.
I like to move. Somebody come get me.
You could go to Florida because
No,
Florida says that getting healthy kids vaccinated against COVID doesn't need to be a thing.
Oh, is this the same Florida where the governor or somebody, the mayor or the governor, made fun of people wearing masks?
Correct.
Oh, fun.
The
How
same Florida
fun.
where like their leaders go and put, flowers and shit at the Pulse Memorial and then pass things like the Don't Say Gay bill.
Oh, there are pictures of people putting flowers and then they compare the signatures to that. Anyway, Florida. Scientists say are saying that even mild COVID will cause brain shrinkage and disrupt mental function. Like we're a couple years into this now, so we have
Right.
studies and stuff going on
Yep.
now. So if you watch that, it sounds like a lot of our states don't have a lot of brain usage going on. So
I mean, we're already 49th in education, so with all the COVID that's been happening here, I'm sure that, it's gonna be fantastic in the
we're
coming
doing
years.
great. We're gonna be
This is gonna be
fine.
awesome with the brain shrinkage that's already like combine the brain shrinkage with the really shitty education system. This will be amazing. I can't wait to see what happens to Arizona in the next few years.
And the employment gap. I
So
love
exciting.
that. I love it.
So
I can't
exciting.
wait. It's amazing.
So
It's
exciting.
amazing. Can we stop winning at the most horrible things?
Seriously.
Please
But I
stop it.
guess on the plus side, the CDC says that COVID will probably end up being kind of like the flu and will be like a seasonal virus once it's fully under control. And we're in the sort of endemic stages as opposed to the pandemic stage. So things are starting to be normal and all that good stuff. But like the flu, you're going to go get your flu shot every year. So the chances are you're probably going to go need to go get a COVID shot every year. It'll just end up, being one of those seasonal viruses that comes up, during the winter and then kind of
So
goes
we'll only
dormant during
shrink
the
our
summer.
brains
And
during the winter.
right.
Suzette says,
But
I can't afford to have any brain shrinkage. Gotta stay away from COVID with my weak lungs. Yes, me too. Here we are. What is that one? Luckily,
as far as numbers,
that's
so
wonderful.
last week, the week prior, we only had, or I say only, in Arizona,
Yikes.
we had about 9,600 new cases as last week. So from last week to this week, there's been about 6,500 new cases. So that's lower than what it's been, thank God. And 382 deaths since last week,
Eek.
which
I mean,
still
even
isn't
when it's
great,
in the
but
when it's in the hundreds, it still sounds horrible.
I mean,
Well, I've never been a fan of death in the first place, but
as far as national numbers, we're up to almost 80 million cases and almost 1 million deaths.
oh my God, look at us winning things. Oh my God. Stop it. Oh my God. Yikes. So I have good news for you.
Oh, for me, that's exciting.
For all of you.
Oh,
And
thought
it
me
looks like some
specifically.
no. I finally uploaded all of our episodes as podcasts. And it looks like
Oh, hey.
like a lot of you have already listened. And so I would like to say that we are almost at 5,000 downloads as a
Damn.
podcast.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I didn't
People
think
are
people
listening to
actually
us.
cared about us.
People are listening to us. Who knew?
Send us money. We need money. We poor. But yeah, I saw that earlier today. I was like, what the hell is this? And I thought it was like some weird random number. And it was like, oh, 5,000 downloads of this podcast. And I was like,
That's exciting.
here? This?
It's me. It's just me.
It is all you, because I just sit here. Speaking of sitting, let's sit in different places. Let's go to La Guitarra on March 18th, which is this Friday. We need to check on
No, not this
tickets,
Friday.
but
Next Friday.
next Friday. I'm sorry, I keep jumping ahead.
Oh my God. I was like, no, not this Friday.
I keep jumping ahead. So yes, catch me before before I fall off. And then the 19th, I will be in Ajo. I will actually be at Stacy's on the 13th for Magic. And then continuing on. The 20th at Industry for brunch. And then the 26th in Sierra Vista. And then the madness stops for me in New Gallus on April 2nd. And then you are getting rid of your forever title.
I pretty much have nothing
They
going
better
on
do
between
something
Cat
special.
Bingo and Nationals. So, like, I have Cat Bingo on the 18th, and then Nationals is April 10th for me. So I'll be heading to Arkansas.
Hopefully it doesn't rain, snow, sleet, whatever.
If it
So,
does,
yeah.
I'm just gonna be like, you know what? I will do a virtual
You
crowning.
know,
I don't
oh my
care.
God, you should call it in.
I'll just have them put me up on the screen. Like,
Oh, you could do a pre-recorded. This is my step down. We could put together something real quick and fun, especially if it's bright and sunny over here and it's snowing over there.
right.
And then sex trivia is on April 23rd. I have started the conversations of booking people. So look for guest announcements.
Yay.
Yes. The beat goes on. The beat goes on. I know you guys like the guests. But I like talking to y'all. Good luck on losing the title finally. If he comes back in April and they say, "Oh, you get to keep it one more year," I'm gonna laugh. I'm just gonna
I will set
laugh.
shit on fire. I will just things will be
Like
burning.
waiting to exhale or set it off.
Things will be burning. Like it would be.
So hopefully that will be okay. Thank you for joining us for our Wednesday night conversation. We had so much good news that you couldn't believe it was horrible. It is unbelievable reading the headlines and you're like, what?
That's why that's like I said, like we can't really have like a satire site anymore because like it's this we don't have satire because all of our headlines are just ridiculous. And
Well,
they're
I forgot to
real, and that's the
mention the one
problem.
part that about the war. Russia broke the peace, the ceasefire, because you remember, and then did that horrible thing with the women and
Right.
children,
Right.
because that was part of the agreement. So war crimes are being investigated, just so y'all know. And then, yeah,
It's going to
just
be
seems.
interesting to see what happens because Russia, in centuries, Russia hasn't changed. This is par for the course. This is what Russia does. This is what Russia has always done. And like,
It's because they got that nasty vodka over there. That vodka's nasty. Anyway, but like allies of Russia have been trying to help women and children and aid them, and so and Russia has been turning it around to say like, look, we've been helping the children, but wait, but how did the children get hurt?
That's the gaslighting. I told you it's like an abusive partner. That's the gaslighting.
You can't be a hero.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, but I'm gonna bring you flowers afterwards and be like, "I'm sorry, honey."
Oh my God. So that's what makes this all just horribleness. But thanks for tuning in. Thank you to all who watched live and continue to watch us live. And thank you to those who listen to us as a podcast.
I know.
I know that maybe we listen to ourselves to hear what we sound like.
And sometimes I'm like, "Oh no."
It's when I sound nasally, I'm like, "Oh, I'm skipping this one."
When I'm stuffy, sometimes I'm like,
yeah, we don't listen to that episode. But thank you for listening on the podcast. You can listen to the podcast, and I will do better. In fact, I have it on my little notes to do it today. As soon as the episode's over, I can download it and upload whatever. But Thank you for downloading. You can subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, all of that,
Spotify, whatever,
all
all the
of that,
things, whatever.
whatever, all of it. So yeah, tell your friends if they can't watch us, they can listen because it'll save them the traumatic experience, and they won't feel like they've
Oh, thank
watched
you, Guido.
Jumanji.
I know. I
What
feel
was
like now I
that?
have to come up with either a Jumanji number or Wild Thornberries, and combine them all with a modern major general, because
Oh my god, that would be so fun. Let's do it.
I feel like I
Who
could come up with
spelled
something.
what? Who is that? I hope you don't type my name like that though.
My God, Suzette, really, Fefe? It's literally on the screen. Literally on the screen. It's fine. It's
My
fine.
name is right here.
Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and we will catch you next week for your Wednesday night conversation.
Oh my god, she spelled my name wrong.
Promotional consideration for Let's Have a Fefe provided by Wigs of a Kind, The Burly Barber, Bone and Basil, as well as our patrons at Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Let's Have a Fefe to become a Fefe patron. Virtual tips accepted at paypal.me/Let's Have a Fefe. Subscribe to the Let's Have a Fefe podcast. You can listen on your favorite podcatcher. See you next week for your Wednesday night conversation. This has been Let's Have a Fefe. Good night.